One of our larger garden plots has been set aside for potatoes. About 2 weeks ago, I tilled this soil up, amended with a good bit of fertilizer thanks to the chickens, and we put 50 pounds of seed potatoes in the ground. Everything's coming up nicely, and we expect a good harvest this year. In a previous video, we took a box hedge off the corner of the house here. There was also a rose planted right up against the wall. I removed all of those and went ahead and broke the sod around the edges of what was our squash and watermelon plot from last year. We've expanded out just a little bit here. Got about an extra 6 feet of bed, and they're a full 25 feet long. So we're adding that 6 feet to the 9 that was already here. So we've got a large enough plot to plant a good stand of corn. So that's today's project, is to get this tilled up, put in some rows, and get the corn seed in the ground so it can catch up with the potatoes. Last time I had the tiller out, all I did was break the sod. Now it's time to get a good deep till on this bed so it'll be ready for the corn. So I've lowered the drag bar to help hold the tiller from moving forward too quickly. And now we're raising the wheels so that it'll dig as deep as it can. Now open the throttle and the choke all the way. Give the flywheel a good spin. It's always a good idea to have a wrench in your back pocket. These tillers shake quite a bit, and the screws have a tendency to come loose. Always a good idea to check them for tightness before you operate. Yes, that's right. I remembered the wrench and forgot the gas. Even at high speed, this can be a long and tedious process. Let's skip to the good stuff. Now, if you've never stood behind a tiller before, you may be wondering, how do you lift it up out of the hole it's dug and move it to the other side? Just give a little light pressure up on the handlebars, let the tines roll out. You can drive it just like a car. Okay, so that's more like an awkward four-wheeler, but you get the point. Kentucky is an amazing state full of very giving people. My neighbor happens to work for a wholesale produce company, and at the end of his route, if he has anything left over, he's always happy to share. And we're giving people too. We don't mind sharing some of the eggs we get. Our hens lay way more eggs than we could possibly eat. Y'all excuse me for a moment while I get this man some eggs. And then it's back to the rake. Call me crazy, I like to work from a smooth blank canvas. So we're going to rake this out nice and smooth before we plant the corn. This year, Marty has chosen an F1 hybrid from Johnny's Selected Seeds called Temptress. When we grew corn out in the Nevada desert, we didn't have a lot of pest pressure. We didn't have a lot of water, but we were able to get a decent stand of corn. But here in Kentucky, our corn last year didn't do so good. The pest pressure is extremely high here compared to Nevada. So Marty has chosen a variety that is both disease and pest resistant. Marty is an amazing artist. She could lay these rows out straight as an arrow with one eye tied behind her back. But me, I need some sort of a guide. I'm using an old tool handle to poke holes in the ground and then put seeds in the soil. Marty prefers to use a PVC pipe. She can just pop it in the soil and drop the seed down the pipe. The point is, it doesn't matter how you get the seed in the dirt, it's not going to grow if you leave it in the bag. Corn is wind pollinated, so we do want these rows fairly tight to make sure we get good germination. Each one of the silks that hangs out of the corn cob has the ability to produce a kernel of corn, but it needs the pollen first. We're planting double rows with 6 to 8 inch spacing, 24 inches between the 2 double rows. So I can run a tiller back through here once the corn's up. We'll end up with 8 25-foot rows of corn, or 200 row feet. At 2 seeds per foot, that's 400 seeds in the ground. We should get about 350 plants. Now, if we can average 1.5 ears of corn per plant, that's going to be 525 ears of corn, or 262 meals for the coming year. This corn represents a significant amount of food for us for the coming year, and we've been very excited about expanding this plot and getting it in the ground. We appreciate so much y'all coming out and joining us for this little project. Please subscribe, be sure and hit that like button while you're in there. We'll see you next time.